Hey everyone, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Brian. Thanks for joining me today as we take a dive into the first of several new products from Bardstown Bourbon Company. Now, this is part of their origin series. So historically, as we watched the brand develop, we started seeing mainly two products that came out of them. A fusion series, which was blending from some of their own distillate, as well as some sourced product that they had. We also saw the Discovery series, which was a blend of some of the sourced product that they had, and then a myriad of these collaborative bottles or these limited edition bottles that they had, some finished products as well. And we saw a lot of premium type bottling, some affordable in some cases, but still some plus $100 bottlings of products in here that got really good rave reviews. I mean, we have the Chateau de la Baude, we have the MGP finished apple brandy with Copper and Kings. We have a lot of really nice tasting products over the last couple of years, but the fusion seemed to be one that didn't necessarily get a whole lot of acclaim in regards to how it tasted or how it had the play of the distillate with their young, maturing distillate. So here in the Origin series, we have three products, two of which this week we're going to take a look at, starting with this 96 proof High Rye Bourbon. This has 60% corn, 36% rye content, and then 4% of the malt barley, and it comes in at 6 years old. This is 100% estate distilled product coming from the folks at Bardstown Bourbon Company, and we're going to start being able to regularly see this product out there. Not only that, but we have a nice affordable price point as well, with this bourbon coming in at $44.99. Before we get too far, jump down below, leave me a comment, hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Help me grow this channel as we go through 2023. I did a poll on my Instagram recently to see what you all are interested in talking about. We have this 6-year 96 proof High Rye, and then we also are going to be taking a look later this week at a 6-year bottled and bond wheated product. And a lot of you all were really excited for that wheated product. So check out that video later on in the channel, and we're going to dive into that. But for today, we are going to dive right on in to this 36% rye, High Rye. And man, this, hold on one second. What we are getting from this flagship staple High Rye bourbon from Bardstown Bourbon Company, while kind of light, easy going in color, gives off all the goods on the nose. The nose is kind of a combination between Buffalo Trace and Heaven Hill. You have a little bit of this kind of softer almond-like nuttiness. Then it has these sweeter scents like you normally would attribute to Buffalo Trace. We're talking green apple. We're talking a little bit of cherry, a little bit of honey, a little brown sugar in there, and vanilla. Deeper inhales, you get a little bit more earthiness, but it's not really earthy. It gets into that kind of sweet almond note that I previously mentioned. Straight up, dude, this makes me think of standard Buffalo Trace. This makes me think of Eagle Rare. This makes me think of a Sazerac product, honestly. Let's go ahead and dive in on the palate. The palate is elegant. And when I say elegant, I want you to read that as soft on the palate. It's not light on the palate. It still comes off oily, but it's soft, it's elegant, it's nice, it's clean. Slightly floral, a little bit of peach stone fruit there as well, with this vanilla sweetened shortbread cookie-like note. And then it tapers with a decent amount of younger oak character. You notice a resurgence of the honey like we got on the nose, but it's more like a simple syrup sweetness, just like a raw sugar, demerara type sweet, sugary sweetness. But then the finish, you notice a little bit more of the dark fruit comes out, and you definitely get some orange citrus there as well. It's refreshing. It lifts a little bit, has some brightness. For 96 proof, I'm not kidding. It's very nice and oily. And you know what this reminds me of, honestly? This reminds me of a slightly less oaky Eagle Rare. And nosing on this Buffalo Trace, so let's go ahead and let's kind of taste it a little bit. And Buffalo Trace seems to have richer caramels, cherry fruit, but then it has a little bit of a more gritty grain-like bite to it, and that's both on the nose as well as on the palate. But let's transition right back to that Bardstown Bourbon Company. And honestly, I make that mention to Eagle Rare because to me, Eagle Rare is a very balanced, very easygoing pour when it comes to the Sazerac Buffalo Trace family. It has some fruit, it has some of the brown sugar like notes, but it shakes off some of the graininess that you get in the standard Buffalo Trace in favor of a more rounded, easy drinking experience. And honestly, this is what you're getting in that Bardstown Bourbon Company origin. You start to feel that rye kick in. The 96 proof helps balance it, but you still kind of notice a little bit of pepper in a very pleasing way, hit kind of the sides of the tongue as you're taking it down. And it sticks with you in the finish for quite a long time. A little bit more of that nuttiness, that kind of creaminess comes along. And again, I want to say that it's more similar to Evan Williams because I think Evan Williams has a little bit of the Heaven Hill nuttiness, the creaminess that you get in some of the products mixed with a slight bit of florality. And again, I already mentioned earlier on, you get that kind of floral touch, kind of like a floral vanilla node that kind of goes in the nose and continues into the palate as well. And coming back to that Bardstown Bourbon Company, you get a lot of cola on the palate, effervescent and spicy. You get a little bit of fig sweetness as well. The caramel and vanilla continue to wave over the palate. Y'all, I'm not gonna lie, this is so enjoyable. I don't even know why you would bother going after Eagle Rare or Buffalo Trace if you can't immediately find it in your area anymore. There's just not a reason to. There's just not a reason to. This product is really enjoyable. I'm incredibly impressed with this, and I'll probably be running out and buying a bottle later on this week and I know we're talking at the very beginning of the year, but in the end of the year, you're gonna see this bottle pop up in people's lists of their kind of favorite pours of the year, especially ones in that very accessible price point, accessible product point. So again, like I said, I made a comparison to Eagle Rare. So Eagle Rare in our particular market is anywhere between $30, $37. If this becomes widely available, I can easily see this at that $45 price point, competing with that, specifically with the allocation nature that's taking place with Sazerac type products. Really curious to see is how this stood up to some other of the legacy brands before a premium product for something that doesn't exist from one of those heritage brands. I think this is a very good price point, and I think what you're getting on the palate is an exceptional bourbon. But I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear what you all think. Have you been able to try the High Rye Origin Series from Bardstown Bourbon Company yet? And if so, what have your thoughts been? Guys, thanks so much for tuning into this video. Again, look for that Bottled and Bond 6-year weeded video to drop later on this week. And let me know if you're enjoying the content that I'm bringing here to the channel. I want to make sure that I'm bringing things that you all are interested in hearing about and being able to put out some of the comparisons that you all might want to see as well. So let me know if there's other things you want to see me compare this product to in the future. And maybe I could do some of those here or on some of my Instagram stories or something like that in an upcoming video. Thanks so much for tuning in, and until our next video, everybody, we'll see you all later.